right, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shah, Bahasham Rekah Kadash, Brakatham. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, they rule well. And a salute and a shalom to all the Akim that are out to labor pushing this truth in all sincerity and in truth. Real quick lesson, go into another ancient manner and custom. This is the Elder Yashawamba's video, the lesson he put up yesterday, titled News and Prophecy, Nourishment's Vanishing Perilous Times, right? I'm going to go into an ancient custom called gleaning. Now, I'm gonna let this play, get the custom, get some scriptures, close out.
On November 1st, while the government shutdown continues, the federal government said it wouldn't tap into the roughly $5 billion in contingency funds to keep the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program funded into November. The program...
So they're not going to tap into the $5 billion contingency fund, right? Which, here's why. Let's listen to this guy.
Do you complete medication? You should tap into those funds or find other sources in order to show that meds are completed.
Well, and this is a Christian nationalist who was found out to be a sodomite. All right? Just like the majority of these so-called Edomite Christian nationalists that are in positions of power. They're closeted moles and demons. You could just look at this guy. I believe this is the dude who was caught. You know, they looked. You know, his phone history was completely dark, but I believe he was sharing it with his son. Something came out about this guy, but he's a demon. You can look at him and tell it's a lie. But they're asking him about this $5 billion that's supposed to be set aside for times like this to help, you know, American families, and this is his answer.
In order to show that meds are completed.
Well, look, I can tell you the administration has worked, as you all know, very creatively and very hard to limit the pain on the Americans because of the Democrats' shutdown. And
again, you see the left blaming the right blaming the left. Okay, meanwhile, what?
Now, he said what? That they worked hard to make it easier on the American people. See, but stopping what? SNAP and EBT? Stopping the poor from getting food. Man, you could tell this guy, I don't know his name or nothing like that. The guy that's, the guy in the video. Yeah, the closeted Mo, yeah. You could tell he's full of shit, man. You can tell he's full of shit. All right, man, and they told him to say this. Come on, man. Ain't nobody stupid, nigga. Ain't nobody stupid, man.
It's happening around you. The elite's plans of the NWO is being implemented. Okay?
the SNAP benefits is a unique situation. I've got a summary of the whole legal analysis, and it certainly looks legitimate to me. The contingency funds are not legally available to cover the benefits right now. The reason is because it's a finite source of funds. It was appropriated by Congress, and if they transfer funds from these other sources, it pulls it away immediately from school meals and infant formula. So it's a trade-off.
So you see this devil, he's just going to keep moving the goalposts, creating loopholes. All right, and as people are sick of these people, but this is what they want. They want people to react.
Right, that's what they want. That is exactly what they want. It says what? The words of his mouth were smoother than butter, but war was in his heart. See?
Okay, they want people to lose it. Okay, so that they can justify, all right, coming with the sword, the robots, and everything else they got planned for you people.
All right, man. Plus, if the law was kept here, right, then the poor wouldn't be complaining. The poor wouldn't the poor wouldn't the poor yeah, because if the law was kept here, the poor would have food. Right, man, because back in the day when you would walk down the street, right, or in your backyard, you would see what? Apple trees. See? You will see avocado trees, man. You will see orange trees. But do you see that now? No, you don't. All right, man, because if they still had apple trees and avocado trees and all that and fig trees, right? If they still had that in a person's backyard, or just as you're taking a walk, right? Because let's say a poor person don't have no money, right? Don't have a job, no nothing, right? He or she gets hungry, right? And they walk under an apple tree. They will be able to pick an apple off the tree and eat it. Have nourishment. Right? Plus, these restaurants and fast food places, they throw food away. Now, I know the fast food place. Now, I know the fast food places. I know that food is horrible. That food is trifling. But feed the poor, man.
There has to be a pre-existing appropriation for the contingency fund to be used, and Democrats blocked that appropriation when they rejected the clean continuing resolution. So the way to make this stop immediately is we just need a handful. We need 5 more Democrats in the Senate to do the right thing.
You could just tell this dude is lying.
Okay? See?
It helps 1 in 8 Americans buy groceries. The Trump administration blames Democratic lawmakers who say they won't agree to reopen the government until they can negotiate a deal with Republicans on extending expiring Affordable Care Act subsidies. Democrats wrote a letter to the Agriculture Secretary to use contingency funds to cover the bulk of next month's benefits. However, a USDA memo says, quote, contingency funds are not legally available to cover regular benefits, end quote. The memo said it reserves that money for things like helping people after a disaster strikes, according to the AP.
Well, it's going to be a disaster on November 1st.
Yes, it is.
Okay? So the well has run dry.
Yep.
Okay?
And November 1st is Saturday. November 1st is Saturday, man. Boy.
And again, our people, right? Let's get the book of Second Ezra, the 9th chapter. Okay? We got a few videos to get into. So much happening, all right? you can't even sit down without getting up, and it's just all over the place, man. Second Ezra chapter 9. And 9. Then shall there be in pitiful case which have now abused my ways, and they that have cast him away despitefully shall dwell in torments. For such in their life have received benefits and have not known me. Mm-hmm. See, you receive these little benefits and you forgot about the Lord.
Yep. It say what? Jeshurun, wax fat and kicked. See, man? Let me get there real quick. Exodus. That. Hold on. Is that? Let's see. Hold on. Let me see. Let me see something. Here it is. Here it is. I had the right chapter, but the wrong book. All right. Deuteronomy 32 and 15. It say, but Jeshurun waxed fat and kicked. Thou art waxen fat. Thou art grown thick. Thou art covered with fatness. Then he forsook Yahweh, which made him, and lightly esteemed the rock of his salvation. All right, man. So when our people, when Jake received the benefits, right? Then they forsook Yahweh Shem Shah because they got what they wanted. Boy, I tell you.
Because you got some decent people, you know, who are on these programs as well that are going to suffer, but the Lord is going to get you through it.
Mm-hmm.
See? The elect.
Yeah.
You got certain members of the elect who may be on these programs. Don't worry about it, man. This devil ain't the end-all, be-all food. And this day had to come.
Right.
Okay? In order for us to get to the kingdom we want, the hard times associated with prophecy have to be fulfilled.
So
don't worry about it, man.
Right.
You got certain brothers who are in some crazy situations. All right. And what are we doing? We continuously prophesying. We continuously doing the work, prayerful, hopeful, and the Lord is going to get us through it. He didn't bring us this far to just abandon us. However,
right. Because the scriptures say, take no thought for your life. It says, what ye shall eat or drink, wherewithal shall ye be clothed. See, all we got to do is what? Is seek the kingdom of Yahweh Shem Shah and his righteousness. And all these things shall be added unto you. Because remember, man, Yahweh Shem Shah put the spirit on the ravens to feed Elijah. Remember that. It says, for whatsoever things were written aforetime were written for our learning, that we through patience and comfort of the scriptures might have hope. See?
Our faith will be tested.
Yep.
We're not here to bring you this, feel-good story that, that you won't go through anything. You won't have to, you won't be challenged. No, you're going to be challenged.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But if we have the names of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and we have the faith. So they have received benefits and have not known the Lord, and they that have loathed my law, while yet they had liberty, grace. And when as yet a place of repentance was open unto them, understood it not, but despised it, the same must know it after death by pain. And pursuant to the book of Revelation, the 6th chapter, right? Revelation, the 6th chapter, and the 8th verse says, and I looked, and behold, a pale horse. Okay? He is as death. And the name that sat on him was Death. And hell followed with him. Hell on earth. all right, follows this devil, man. Wherever he goes, he brings what? Hell, hard times, death, confusion. Okay, here it is. They've taken all of the trees out of your neighborhoods.
See?
Okay, and have you hooked on Snap and these different benefits when there's a whole earth in front of you.
Exactly. Now let me get this. This is Ruth 2 and 3. She went and came and gleaned in the field after the reapers. Says the Israelites were commanded by their law to be merciful to the poor, right? It says the corners of the fields were not to be reaped. Leviticus 19 and 9. All right, it say, and when ye reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not wholly reap the corners of thy field, neither shalt thou gather the gleanings of thy harvest. It says, when you harvest the crops of your land, do not harvest the grain along the edges of your field. And do not pick up what the harvesters drop. And thou shalt not glean thy vineyard, neither shalt thou gather every grape of thy vineyard. Thou shalt leave them for the poor and stranger. It says, I am Yahweh your power. See? So in the scriptures, right, in the law of the scriptures, we were commanded to what? Make sure the poor had something to eat. Right? Now, what did Esau do? Let's get this. What's that? Yeah. Verse 50 and 16. Chapter 50, verse 16. But unto the wicked Yahweh saith, what hast thou it says, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Seeing thou hatest instruction and catchest my words behind thee. See, man? So Esau has casted the word behind him. See? Don't make sure the poor eat. Now because they're like, hey, if the poor starve, oh well, fuck them. Damn. Let's get this. Leviticus 23 and 22. It says, when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not clean. It says, thou shalt not make clean riddance of thy corners, because it says, of the corners of thy field when thou harvest. It says, when thou reapest. Neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest, which thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am Yahweh. It says, I am Yahweh your power. See? All right, man. Now, when we are in our kingdom, man, when we are in the kingdom of Yahweh Shai, when we are in rulership, when we are in power, we're going to make sure the poor eat. Bottom line, we're going to make sure they eat. All right, man. And Jacob will take care of the earth. like we're supposed to. We will take care of it. But first we have to earn what? The inheritance. We have to earn it first. It says if a sheaf should be accidentally left in the field, it was to be allowed to remain there. Right? So the poor can have something to glean with. Let me get it. Deuteronomy 24:19. When thou cuttest down thine harvest in thy field, and has forgot the sheaf in the field, thou shalt not go again to fetch it. It shall be for the stranger, for the fatherless, and for the widow, that Yahweh thy power may bless thee in all the work of thine hands. See? It says, when thou beatest thine olive tree, thou shalt not go over the boughs again. It shall be for the stranger, and for the fatherless, and for the widow. Right? Even when you are gathering grapes in your vineyard, you're supposed to what? You're supposed to leave some for the poor, the widow, the fatherless. Come on, man. This grain in the corners and odd sheaves in the field were for the poor. The story of Ruth is the most beautiful illustration of this law. Reverence is supposed to be made to this custom in Job 24:10. It says, they cause him to go naked without clothing, and they take away the sheaf from the hungry. Says the poor must go about naked without any clothing. They harvest food for others while they themselves are starving. Which make oil within their walls and tread their wine presses and suffer thirst.
Okay, when you were little, I know in where I grew up at, there was trees and fruit all around us, and we didn't even think about it. In my backyard, in the hood, avocado tree, lemon tree, apple tree. Next door, fig tree. Behind me, loquat tree, which is like a little plum, yellow type plum. Up the street, you know, it was all kind of trees and foods around, but you notice that it ain't like that no more. They made it a point to ruin the atmosphere, destroy the soil, destroy the sea, and just pretty much there should be free food right around everybody if you just kept the law.
See, I said that. Come on, man. I said that, man. See?
But this man is insatiable. He's a demon. He wants you to come to him. Even the Terminator seed concept. Okay, he wants you to ultimately be dependent on him, and this is ultimately what our people, all right, have done. All right.
All right, man. Like you said, man, that this devil wants you to depend on him. Now, why would anyone depend on why would anyone depend on a Now, why would anyone depend on the fucking devil to receive food when it's not even promised that he gonna give you food? Esau is a liar, man. Why would you believe a liar? Right? The liar wants you to depend on him for food when it's not even promised he gonna give you food. Come on, man.
They forgot about the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the so-called white man has become your God. Now he's getting ready to what? Divorce your ass, right? And show you, nigga, I was a serpent the whole time.
Right.
And power was given unto him over the fourth part of the earth, all right, the new world over here in America, to kill with the sword and with hunger and with death, all right, and with the beasts of the earth. Okay? This is what he's getting ready to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go here.
Have you guys realized you only got a few days before things go down? This is just one of the things I want to show you.
Breaking news, Walmart has made a major decision ahead of the expected SNAP benefit chaos. Starting November 1st, all Walmart stores will close their doors to in-person shoppers. Only employees will be allowed inside, while customers will have to shop online or use curbside pickup. The company's message to shoppers is clear: do your shopping before November 1st because you won't be coming in here with that mess.
And we're getting messages like this.
It says that the link is definitely cut off for November. Y'all better stay out of my way in these stores. I'm walking out with cards and I'm not paying for shit. Charlie, if you want, start looting, what's gonna happen? Before my kids go broke like junk, I'm gonna be stealing like it ain't no tomorrow. I live in Chicago. Do y'all think these people finna sit back without no EBT?
Now, when she said, before my kids go broke like Jock, right? Now, now, she's talking about the rapper Young Jock, right? It's from a verse from this other rapper, right? That's what she's talking about. But anyway, that don't matter. That's irrelevant.
No, how many people I know that got like 9 G's and depend on that shit?
Look, guys, it's gonna get messy in more ways than one.
They can't cut into their bottom line, so what are they going to do? They're going to jack up the prices. They're going to lay people off. They're going to cut people's hours.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to not order as many shipments of food. Who brings the food to the grocery stores? Truck drivers? They're not going to have the load that they did before because the demand is down. Where do the trucks get the products? At distribution centers? So distribution centers won't need the same amount of workers. They won't need people there every day. They'll probably let people go home early, stay home, maybe lay people off. What about the farmers that have all this food to move and nowhere to send it? So they're just going to be sitting on stockpiles of food, a lot of it perishable that has nowhere to go. This is going to be a massive ripple that goes out and affects multiple people across multiple facets of this chain. Because the people at the top are not going to lose money. They're going to make sure of that.
We're talking like 40 million people. Whether you've got EBT card and food assistance or not, this is going to affect you. You may not want to go to the store. Check out what this guy has to say. And this guy has a valid point.
November 1st, food stamps are set to expire, SNAP benefits, whatever you want to call them. And 42 million people across the country will be relying on those food stamps to come in but won't get them. Now, as a dad of 3...
So the nourishment is getting cut off.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the scriptures, let's get the book of Revelation 12 real quick. Okay, and you notice they showing Jake.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jake is at the forefront of, nigga, we getting ready to lose it, we getting ready to rebel, and this only helps the devil, all right, to come down on your ass.
Yep.
Okay, they're very crafty, man.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and again, we got to understand some of this stuff can be AI. Because remember, let's pull this up.
All right, man. So that's the lesson. All right. So with that, I say shalom.